When you race a lot of horses, it's a big challenge to get them rehomed, and it's one taken up with alacrity by Frank and Christine Cook. We'll hear about their devotion to thoroughbred sport horse and other organisations who are encouraging riders to take thoroughbreds and compete with them away from the racetrack. Obviously, Frank and yourself, you're major owners within the racing industry in Australia and globally now too. But tell us about your love for horses off the track. I mean, watching you here as sponsors of Thoroughbred Sport Horse, their national championships, it gives you so much joy, doesn't it?
Well, it does, but you were the reason we did it when you did the story on Chrissy, because the both of us saw that story, looked at each other and said, we're in. Because we've always worried, when we very first got involved, any of our horses off track, when they would go to a sale, we would worry about how much they were going for, and if they weren't going for a certain amount of money, we would say don't sell it. So we've always had that interest in them from very first time. We've always worried about what happens to them after. The fillies, we've usually breed from some of those, and the geldings usually do find a home somewhere, but not like you get the homes now. It's so different now. There's more acknowledgement of the welfare of what a horse has after its racing career, whether it be a jumper or, as we're here today, in this amazing Thoroughbred Sports Horse Association event. It's incredible, I love it.
And the take-up, as you say, it has changed. Even in the last 5 years or so, the amount of work people such as Chrissy Harris, as you said, with TSHA and all her great team are doing, and we've seen Equimillion, we're seeing it, and all states around Australia are doing it in territories, but it really has been a growing thing, actually getting owners to think about what happens to the horse after it finishes racing.
Well, just think about when prize money now has a component of animal welfare. There was always the jockey welfare, but now there's the animal welfare component, which means every owner knows that part of their prize money, or that prize money, is going towards looking after the horses after it stops racing. It's brilliant, love it.
You've been in ownership, you both lease a lot of horses out so people can join you in ownership, and you've owned horses with, other sort of major owners around Australia. There are large numbers of them. How have you found your efforts in actually getting them into good new homes?
Well, we have a lovely friend who decided she didn't want to be an events manager anymore, always loved horses. She was living in Queensland, so she started a program called Life with Horses, and we gave her some of our injured geldings with Helen Page, and she started that up there. So we've always, I suppose, we have really always worried about what's going to happen to them after. They have been very good to us. The fillies, the mares, the geldings. We've won Group 1s, we owe them, I'm going to get upset now, we owe them a life after racing, because they have given us so much joy over the years, seriously.
And it's real emotion. I mean, this is the beauty of coming out to something like this today. You see the heart and soul that people have invested in these horses. And as I said, to cheer you up a bit and make you feel good, the joy that people such as yourselves, I know when I've had my ex-race horse that I bred when she was show jumping, you get so much joy from watching what they do now.
Well, what you don't realise, and this is what the people who are naysayers to the sport don't realise, these horses want to work. They're bred to work, they're bred to do certain things. Doesn't mean they just bred to run around a track. They are smart, they are athletic. If the right people get them, they can do anything they want, because that's what they want to do. They want to work. Yesterday, a 16-year-old gelding had started jumping. For 10 years he was sitting in a paddock. Amazing. They want to work for us. They want to help us. It's amazing.
It sure is. And some of your horses, you talked about Kat with Life with Horses, who we featured on Thoroughbreds Our Go. And she's just a dynamo, isn't she? But, you know, Excalibrator and Brinkmanship, and these horses, you know, they are your pets, really. And the joy you get as well, seeing them being rehabilitated into, because, you know, they had injuries. These were horses, as any athlete, as Kat explained, can happen. You know, but they're now giving so much joy to so many other people who have challenging lives themselves.
What you don't appreciate, I mean, I've always said, they're really just big puppy dogs. They would sit on your lap and lie on the end of your bed if they could. They just really are just big puppy dogs. And to see the sensitivity of what Kat's doing with them, with the problems that the people who come to her are, that is another level of horses that very few people ever get to see. And that is a very special thing. Very special.
And so what do you feel? Explain it. So the whole point is, you know, to try and encourage owners to you know, follow in Frank and yourselves' footsteps and really get engaged with this sport horse community. Can you explain what it's like when you watch one of your horses and someone's riding it and whether they're, you know, knocking fences down or not, they're happy, the horse is happy. Explain what you feel.
Well, exactly the same thing. It's like your own children. You want to see them be happy, be helpful, to have another life, to still be doing something they love doing, but there's not the pressure on them. And as well as that, none of us are there being disappointed that they didn't come first. That's the other side of the horses off the racetrack, is the fact that there isn't that expectation that they're going to be first all the time. So it's more about supporting. It's like being a grandmother, really. That's what you feel like. You feel like, I'm just watching my kids, I'm watching my grandkids go around. It's just, if you love the horse, and I love the horse as an animal. I'm not a bettor, I'm not a gambler. I just think they are the most incredible animals who just want to please us, who just want to be with us, who want to help us. I just think they're wonderful.
We have a responsibility to look after them. And these days, it's so easy to put them in the online auction and let them go. And in a lot of cases, you have to do that because horses that are competing at a level beyond their capabilities need to be moved up the line to areas where they can actually succeed. I believe that horses themselves have feelings for success, and some really good trainers will tell you if they get that winning feeling, they really thrive. And to keep horses thriving is so important. Well, some of them, you really can't just put them on online auction because they have issues that will impede their future racing. And therefore you have to look at somewhere else to look after them. That's hard, it takes a little bit of time and takes contacts in the industry. And for people who can't resource those contacts, then look at funding and donating to people who are trying to look after their horses after they have raced, because there's a huge thoroughbred stock. All the while we're inventing other ways of using the animal, and it's giving them a lot of satisfaction in doing it.
So what would you say to an owner, you know, anyone that's sort of, I don't know, you know, it might be a hassle or whatever, about actually making the effort to rehome that horse properly?
Oh no, there are so many places you can go now. There are so many entry levels. It doesn't have to be tens of thousands of dollars, it can be hundreds of dollars, like with Life with Horses, that kind of thing. You just sponsor a horse off the track. It's easily done. There are plenty of places, as well as Chrissy. There's lots and lots of sites where you can go all over Australia, not just in New South Wales and Queensland and Victoria and South Australia, but as you know, you've done South Australia. Just ask the question, get involved, especially if you love the horse and those horses have given you great pleasure. I think there comes a time where you have to give back to the horses.